Here's the thing about writing and business. There's no one path to publishing. What I want to share in this final Writing Bites video are things to consider for the two primary publishing paths for writers: traditional publishing, specifically with Big Five publishers, and self-publishing. For the information in this video, let me share my gratitude for writer George Weinstein and the Atlanta Writers Club for their insight for this process. Each publishing path has unique challenges in investment, such as time and money, editing, collaboration with people like publishers, editors, or contracted artists, and marketing or promotion. Let's talk about the first path, traditional publishing. Traditional publishing means you, the writer, have your work published by a press. If you want to have your book in a Barnes & Noble, that most likely means having a book published by a Big Five publisher. Big Five refers to the dominant publishers: Penguin Random House, Hachette, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, and Macmillan. These five publishers will have special imprints for genres and different authors. For instance, The Blighted Stars by Megan E. O'Keefe is a science fiction book on Hatchett's sci-fi and fantasy imprint, Orbit. These Big Five publishers work with literary agents exclusively. Literary agents make money when a writer they represent makes money. Their job is to take a writer as a client with the goal of having a publisher publish the writer's book because they want to make money from the writer's book receiving an order of publication. That means agents will likely receive lots of query letters from authors requesting them to take on their work. That means agents will likely reject query letters for their own unobjective reasons. Agents only want to work with authors they feel their time spent will yield the commission they need. Their asset to writers is their connections and contacts with publishers. That's an asset agents take seriously, and agents do not want to promote a book they feel could damage their reputation or those connections. If an agent takes on a writer as a client, they will charge 15% of sales. They generally do not charge fees to read. If you meet an agent who charges fees, reconsider whether that agent is scamming you. Typically, an agent is affiliated with the Association of American Literary Agents, or the AAL, which has a canon of ethics they follow. To solicit an agent, it's important to have a finished work and to submit a query letter that is short and punchy on how the book both stands out, but as other writers will tell you, doesn't stand out too much. An agent likely wants a book comparable with other published books with, say, 5,000 Amazon reviews, but with a twist or a difference. For instance, a query letter might have, "My book is like Iron Widow," which has 7,000 plus Amazon reviews, but set in a steampunk Belle Epoque Paris. Reedsy blog, linked in the description, has a good write-up on this process with examples. It's very easy to feel disenchanted by the conceit of marketing your book like this. It feels like pandering. But if you're an active reader and you're reading currently published books and are aware of what books people talk about, then you should know comparable contemporary books. It's a good idea to know what's published and what people in publishing or writing are talking about. Kirkus and Publishers Weekly share reviews and news of Big Five books. You can find literary agents accepting query letters on manuscript wish lists. I encourage you to review their website and fact page before searching agents. I also encourage you to submit to agents who connect with works that match what you write. If you write romantasy fiction like Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, you likely don't want to submit to an agent that only works with writers like Hania Yanagihara or Lee Child. An alternative to the Big Five: small or mid-sized presses, aka indie presses. These are publishers that have a smaller footprint than a Big Five publisher. Many allow manuscript submissions without an agent, but they have fewer resources and will publish fewer books in the course of the year. These presses can offer a publishing path for writers at the beginning of a literary career and help you build a network, especially with indie bookstores. They're also good if you write more niche or experimental work. Most poetry, for instance, is published by smaller medium presses like Milkweed Editions and Four-Way Books. Find small presses on Poets and Writers. Just like with agents, before you submit to a small or mid-sized press directly, check out what they publish and make sure they're publishing writing like you're writing. If the press puts out books that read nothing like what you write, or if you read the published works that they put out and dislike them, then the press is likely not for you. The second publishing path is more accessible and more in demand, self-publishing. But accessibility comes at a cost. A lot of writers will tell you this. Don't choose self-publishing because of a lack of patience. Self-publishing seems easy, but in reality, self-publishing is a significant personal investment for printing and cost. What a traditional publisher provides in services, that's now something the writer alone will have to complete. Most self-published books are not on Barnes & Noble shelves, and most customers do not buy self-published books just of their own volition. A customer will buy a self-published book because it feels like a real, not self-published and amateur book, and because they met you and liked you. To reach that point, self-publishing requires a commitment of money and time. When it comes to money, a self-published writer has to pay out of their own pocket for printing, formatting on every kind of edition that includes print and ebook, using a contracted formatter and an editor, or service like Vellum, which is only available on Mac, and cover art from a professional graphic designer. A pro graphic designer may charge $50 to $100 per hour. Before considering self-publishing, review Upwork or Fiverr.com to see how much services cost. And remember that you get what you pay for. A book that looks professional and, quote, like a book, costs a lot for that result. Some writers try to opt for more affordable alternatives. Some use Canva to create and format books. Some also use stock and public domain images from Canva or Pixabay. Let me offer a word of caution. Some images and designs are available for non-commercial use only, and trying to sell a book for money is commerce. Before using anything, read the fine print. Some writers opt for AI-generated images for their covers. AI-generated images cannot be copyrighted. That means someone else can steal your image. In general, with AI being so new, I would discourage the use of any AI in any writing or imagery. Now, when it comes to time, you're your own marketer. That means creating an author website, purchasing Amazon ads or other advertising, purchasing booths and tables at conferences, cold emailing organizations like schools or bookstores to consider your book, and banking on an in-person social network to help. None of this is to say writers can't do it. Some writers self-publish successfully, but each publishing path requires a serious investment of energy that feels worthwhile if you really enjoy writing and you've written something that people want to read. Let me wrap with some final thoughts on publishing paths. The best thing a new writer can do for publishing is to focus on the craft. No agent wants to read someone's first draft or a book from someone not disciplined about writing. Few will buy a self-published book that contains several plot, character, and language errors. If they do, they will likely leave bad reviews for the book, which could damage your reputation and sales. Consider submitting short works like short stories, essays, and poetry to journals to start your writing path. Most journals do not pay for publication unless they offer a prize, but it helps make your work public and helps in query letters. Find places to publish on Submittable or Poets and Writers. Once you start submitting, prepare for rejection. I have poems published online and I have short films that have received exhibition at film festivals. I've rejected under both categories way more than accepted. Every artist that isn't a household name faces this rejection. If a publisher, Big Five or not, offers a publishing contract, consider hiring an entertainment lawyer to review the contract. A lot of new writers worry about copyright. A reminder, ideas cannot be copyrighted, only expressions, i.e. fully completed works. Also understand that while submitting a work to the Copyright Office can be helpful should you need to use litigation, the Copyright Office says copyright applies as soon as your work is fixed in a tangible medium, as in you write it down or type it up. Finally, I would encourage you to attend writers' groups and meet and befriend writers. Befriend means you do not treat others like a network acquaintances or simply people to help you get ahead as you, quote, hustle. On a different note, this is the final Writing Bites video I plan to make for the foreseeable future. Over the past 3 years, I have shared 50 plus videos on many craft and writing topics. I want to thank everyone who helped me during this process, especially the guests who joined me. If you want to write, I encourage you to join us for the DeKalb Writers Group that now meets at the Harrison Crossing Library. See the description for a link to our website. Thank you for enjoying this series. Keep writing.